Father Patty's Irish Pub and Catering. And there he is. There's Chef Justin. Turn your mic on, Chef.
Hey, how's it going?
All right.
Welcome everybody. Welcome. We're gonna do 5 dishes for you today. Some of them are our catering menus, some of them are our regular menus, some of them we do specials. But we're going to start out by doing a soup for you, and it's actually a cold soup, so we need time to chill it, so I'm going to start that first, okay?
All right, Chef, first tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, where have you come from? What have you been doing?
Chef Joseph Severson, I'm born and raised in Woodland, California. About 2.5 years ago, I was fortunate enough to meet Pat, and he took me along with him, and we opened an Irish pub. And we also have my chef, James Ward, which I've been working with since the beginning. He's my first hire. Extremely talented young man. We have Denise Trotter from Raw Honey, as you were saying, and the man that made it all possible, Father Patty.
All right, Father Patty himself. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
So where did you come up with the name Father Patty?
Okay. Well, I have a really good story, but the truth is, it's actually a fraternity nickname. Yeah, it's a fraternity nickname. Yeah, no, it was a fraternity nickname, and you know, if you've ever been in a fraternity or sorority, you know they have names for you.
So you were Father Patty.
But I was Father Patty because you know I could work up right into the lilt, and every now and then we just have a little sip of the old beer. So.
And then have a little confession afterwards.
No, we confess all kinds of things to me.
So why an Irish pub? Okay.
Oh, that's a.
And you're in Woodland.
Yeah, Woodland.
I mean, you want a Mexican restaurant in Woodland?
No, there's enough Mexican restaurants.
Okay.
No. But an Irish pub. Actually, there's a. When I was 19 years old, and I'm nowhere near that now. I spent a summer in Scotland. Yeah, in Scotland. I was actually a music major at Cal State Long Beach. I was going to be a music teacher, and the band at Cal State Long Beach was asked to be part of the Edinburgh Tattoo, which is a big military music festival. We were actually the first non-military group ever to be asked into it.
That had to be exciting.
It was very. I played for the Queen twice.
Wow.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So while over there during that summer, I kind of fell in love with the pub culture. I thought, you know, this would be a really fun thing to do if the music thing didn't work out. And as it turned out, the music thing didn't work out. And so I said, hey, to my wife, Kathy, I'd very much like to be doing a pub. And she says, that's fantastic, I'm pregnant. And so I said, I'll get a job. And so I got a job. And did all kinds of fun things. And I spent the last 30 years before this fixing swimming pools and spas. So I'm a plumber and I'm an electrician. Mr. Fix-It kind of guy. I spent 24 years during that as a youth minister for the Woodland United Methodist Church. And so a man of many talents who thought it would be fun to open a pub.
And
Just keep checking.
And how has Woodland received you?
Woodland has received us very well. Woodland actually picked up on the concept of pub. Now, pub is an interesting thing. Pub is not a bar, and it is not a restaurant. Though there is a very nice bar in it, and there's some absolutely incredible food. But pub is more of an attitude than a place. You know, it's a meeting place. It's a place that you feel safe. It's a gather place. It's a place where you feel really welcome all the time. You know, Cheers. Everybody remember the show Cheers?
The pub.
Cheers was an Irish pub. You know, you were always welcome, and everybody knows your name. Welcome to Father Patty's.
All right. Well, let's get started with our soup. Ladies and gentlemen, Chef Justin has brought out the only fruit or vegetable never ever allowed aboard a nuclear-powered submarine. Leaks.
We wanted to showcase, we do whiskey dinners every other month, and we do
A whiskey dinner?
Yeah, every
Can
other
we get
month.
a bottle of whiskey?
Well, you get a 4-course meal with 4 different whatever whiskeys we're featuring, whether it be Red Best, next one's Macallan we're doing. We've done Teeling, Tullamore Dew, This is our 11th one.
This is our 11th whiskey pairing dinner.
Whiskey pairing dinner. So, you know, in summertime, when you're trying to sell soups at your restaurant, it's 102 degrees outside. It's kind of hard to sell hot soups. So we have to bring on our cold soups at that time. And this is a very French, viva la France dish. It's, you know, we're Irish, but we do all kinds of stuff in the restaurant. Even we do have Tacos Tuesdays. So this is a French dish, very classical French dish. Okay, it's pretty much a potato leek soup, but served chilled. So the first thing I'm gonna do is gonna dice up some leek, and especially with leeks, you guys see the layers in them? You see all that dirt?
They grow in very, very sandy soil.
Especially when we had a recent rain. And make sure you wash your produce, triple wash it. So all this will be washed, but you have to get in between those layers before you can wash it properly. So, and let, see?
Don't want that in your soup.
Don't want that in your soup. Just real quick. And you know, when you're at your house, you want to fine dice it, you want to large dice it, it's just going to be all cooking time. You know, you cut it larger, it's going to take longer to cook, but the main thing is you want uniformity so it all cooks at the same time.
So I noticed you don't use the entire leek, the top green part you don't use.
We do use this, all these trimmings I save and wash, and that's what goes into my chicken stock with our
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So I try to use as much products as I can. I don't want to see anything hitting the floor, hitting the garbage. So.
Waste is money, right?
Waste is money.
Okay. So like I said, we need to wash these. So real simple.
Hey, by the way, you got a great chef in front of you. Actually, you got two great chefs in front of you. You got an owner of a restaurant in front of you. Please feel free to raise your hands. I'll get a microphone out to you. Ask them any question you want. This is better than the Food Network. You're going to learn a ton, but you get to ask questions as well. So just raise your hand. I'll get the microphone to you.
So same thing as this. We're going to keep all our scraps for our stock. Celery, everybody knows celery. Goes good with peanut butter, especially for your kids. The same thing, we're just going to dice all this. We're going to dice it all about medium dice.
So Julia Child used to say, there are two things you must always have in your kitchen. Onions and celery.
Onions and celery is a major staple in any kitchen, and I don't think I've ever worked at a kitchen that didn't have that.
That was actually pretty bad.
It was. She actually said something about wine too. Julia Child.
And wine.
And wine.
Yeah.
Not only that, but you know, when you're looking at your ingredients, you know, okay, I'm going to put this tops in my stock, but look, you have a beautiful garnish right here. Awesome. So always think about trying to use all your product that you can, whether you're using it for garnish, stock, or whatever, salad. So we have some fennel.
Now or later.
Yeah. So we have fennel. So we're pretty much doing what I like to call white mirepoix because there's no carrots in it.
So fennel, by the way, is the only vegetable.
That's fennel.
Yes, fennel. In Italy, they call it finocchio. Finocchio. Smells like black radish.
Like licorice.
Or black licorice.
Yeah.
But fennel is the only vegetable ever seen in the movie Star Wars. Very original Star Wars.
You're right. In the little cooker thing that she had.
Yes, it was a scene that George Lucas wrote called Beru's Stew. And she was putting this fennel of the bowl into this big white pot, or this big aluminum pot.
That's this up real quick. Okay, so we already have our pot right here. All this stuff right too, the celery and actually the fennel, just the outside because it's dirty, I'm going to go ahead and rinse. So as I start rinsing that, I'm going to go up and dice up an onion.
Do you cry when you cut the onions?
Only if I have a dull knife.
Ah, sharp knife is the trick. When was the last time any of you sharpened your knives? He's the sharpener? All right. Take your knives to the butchers at St. Martin Supermarket. They will be happy to sharpen your knives for you. I know the last time you had sharp knives was when you got married and somebody gave you a gift of knives, right?
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. My best friend is actually a butcher at St. Martin in Auburn, and Yeah, you take them there. They have beautiful wheels. They'll take care of you. Drop them off, come back and pick them up, and there's no problem.
They just don't do serrated edge knives, but they'll do everything else for you.
Yeah, that's a little trickier.
Wow, look at that, a guy who cleans up after himself all the time. Look at that. Not bad.
He's looking good here. I don't know at the restaurant.
So, you know, up here we only have limited time, and usually actually when I make this in the chicken stock, it pretty much is an all-day process. We boil for at least 8 hours. So you get there, you start in chicken stock, and it boils and simmers forever. So I'm going to show you the short version.
Where did you learn to cook?
I started at Gorman's in a little town of Yolo, right outside of Woodland, in 1995, and been fortunate enough to work for great owners and great chefs that just showed me. Yeah, so I've worked in Sac, Folsom, and Woodland pretty much all.
Awesome. Very good.
He's got some pretty nice skills too.
Yeah, he does.
Okay, so we're gonna go and start this soup. I need my olive oil, please. And we're trying to keep it as local as possible, so I brought some beautiful olive oil from Australia. But no, it's a really great olive oil. We're gonna turn that up a little. Got my onions in there. Gonna start sauteing those. Thank you.
Rinse the vegetables.
Rinse
Got a
the
question
vegetables.
over here, Chef Justin. Got a question for you. Yes, sir. What's your name and where are you from?
Steve on that pot doesn't have to be hot before you throw anything in it?
I got it hot, but I had it off. It's kind of hard cooking on kitchen ones because I'm not used to not seeing the flame. You know what I mean?
So
Electric
the
gets
oil
me.
doesn't have to be hot.
No, the oil doesn't have to be hot. You don't have to have it searing hot. We're pretty much gonna. You don't want. I've seen this recipe and it starts with butter, but once the butter chills, unless you're taking your fat cap off of it, then you're gonna get a fatty soup, and we're serving it chilled. If it was served hot, you wouldn't have to worry about that greasiness, you know, because you get the oils. So this actually, that's why I started instead of butter and olive oil. But yeah, it doesn't have to be searing hot like on our other dishes. You'll see it'll be searing hot when we put our stuff. Okay, so now that we got this in here, we're gonna go ahead and season it. Whenever I'm doing pepper or pretty much any spices, the bolder you can get them and grind them yourself, they're gonna be fresher. So always do fresh ground black pepper, fresh ground white pepper, and just kosher salt. So we're doing kosher salt in there, pepper.
You grind your own peppercorns.
Oh yeah, always.
Coffee grinder kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, even if we're using coriander seeds or fennel seeds or something like that, and we toast them first, it's always better to have it fresh ground.
Cool. Okay.
At least I figure. The fresher, the better. Microplant or zester, nutmeg, fresh nutmeg.
Going into the soup.
Yes.
Whose recipes are these?
They're kind of a collaboration. Actually,
You mean you stole them from somewhere?
a little bit. Like, you know why I put this in? I was looking at recipes the other day, and Anthony Bourdain had this in it, and I said, "That's what it needed," and I put it in there. Oh man, yeah, right away. So we have some minced garlic. Everybody's seen shows where they chop up garlic. I've already been doing that. A little garlic in there.
A little handful.
Bam. And we're gonna hit it with our white wine.
Is that an official culinary term? Hit it with the white wine.
Hit it with the white wine. I probably thought it was hit it with the whiskey though. But that'll be later.
So this is actually gonna, once I get everything in the pot, it's gonna take about 20-30 minutes to cook. So after I do this, we're gonna jump right onto another dish, and it's a Jameson onion toast. I have onions over here caramelizing already, and we pretty much caramelize our onions for about half an hour, 45 minutes, really slow.
What's the difference when you're caramelizing and what you did in the saucepan? What's the
I
difference?
call this more sweating because I don't want these to brown how these are browned. Yeah, but these are just slow and low, so it just pretty much they'll dissolve in your mouth and just get nice, bring all their sugars out of them, get a nice color, and then once they've cooked enough and got that nice color, then we hit it with butter. Jameson whiskey. Yeah.
Another official culinary term, ladies and gentlemen.
So we got our wine, we got our vegetables in here. Okay. Next thing we're gonna have to put in here is our potatoes. Okay. So we got these nice Yukon Gold potatoes. Always rinse your stuff. I'm not gonna rinse these after. Better rinse them first.
So if I don't have Yukon Golds at home, can I use any other potato?
Russet, red. Sometimes use a mixture. Whatever.
So you're not the potato police. You won't come and get mad at me.
No, not at all. You know what? That's one of the good things about cooking is, as long as you don't kill somebody or get somebody really sick, you're doing.
So that's the threshold. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you wanna please your guests and take your time and do it right. You know what I mean? But that's the main thing. Don't get anybody sick. Don't kill anybody. Yeah. I tell these guys all the time, you know, it's not brain surgery. They look at me and I say, but we can't kill someone, so pay attention to what you're doing.
So treat your food like it is brain surgery.
Yeah. And same thing, we're just gonna go with dice on these.
Father Patty, how often do you change the menu?
Oh, well, about twice a year we do a kind of major revamp of the menu, but weekly we do specials. So
And we're always bringing seasonal stuff in whenever we can. We try and go with the seasons, whatever's fresh and local. We try and use local as much as possible. Sometimes it doesn't happen just because of the quality or the price, but we definitely try and keep everything seasonal.
we'll find a nice piece of salmon. You know, we've got, okay, guess what? This weekend we're doing salmon. We'll find, you know, a good price on prime rib. We'll do prime, but we'll cut steaks out of it. We'll do all kinds of fun things. We did something as simple as we did spaghetti and meatballs with a salad. And my patrons went, oh my God, we can't get that anywhere.
Italian and Father Patty.
Oh, absolutely.
No, the one guy told me, he said, I'm going to go home and slap my mom and tell her she doesn't know how to make spaghetti. I was like, so now that I've added potatoes, I'm going to re-season. You got to build your flavors in layers. If you're adding more stuff that needs more seasoning, you're going to have to add more seasoning. You don't want to put all your seasoning in the beginning. You don't want to put all your seasoning in the end. You got to build layers of flavor.
Oh, see, that's a great
I put my
tip for you.
potatoes in. Now I'm seasoning it again.
The other thing is, don't be afraid of salt and pepper. Makes everything taste better. If you're on a special diet where you have to watch your sodium, then watch your sodium. But people underdo regular spicing on a regular basis.
Generally, in all the competitions we have here in our kitchens, one of the things that the judges will always say, you should have added more seasoning, more salt.
You know, and like you said, if you're on a low sodium diet, there's other ways to replace it with other flavors like herbs and other stuff. So
Mrs. Dash is actually a great
it really is actually.
alternative if you're, we've got a question.
We got a question all the way back here. Yes, ma'am. How are you today? It's hot out there, isn't it? What's your name and where are you from?
I'm from Sacramento. My name's Lovely. Hi.
Hi, welcome, Lily.
You said that if you're watching your sodium, which we have to, so what other seasoning can we use?
Garlic, more aromatics, herbs, definitely herbs. Yeah.
Basil, oregano, and
Basil,
fresh
oregano.
herbs.
I mean, depending on what dish you're doing, you know, bay leaves.
Lemon juice.
I mean, it's
also works.
kind of pricey, but saffron, you know, depending on what you're making, you could go all kinds of routes.
Oriental. So we cook Oriental style.
Yeah. Just, you know, try and find everything that you can find.
Low sodium,
soy, and like that, yeah. Chilies, you know, spice. Put some spice in it. Yeah, put some spice in it.
So Asian cooking, you guys love your chili peppers.
Which was our secret ingredient last year, remember?
Yes. So you have a little time there?
Yeah, I got a little time on my hands. We're gonna do a little parsley, and I think I have some oregano in here too. Yes.
That's parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme. Come on.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, thyme. I didn't bring the rosemary.
You're supposed to sing that.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me sing.
We don't want to hear him sing.
Yes. Sometimes I'll help a server take dishes out, you know, that need to go out to help them run food, you know, and I always tell them I'll be kind of a little jittery and sitting down, and they're like, I'm like, trust me, I'm a better cook than I'm a server. Worse singer, so. And we're just just gonna give these a quick chop. Actually, all of these ingredients, and like I said, that's why I wasn't too worried about, oh, it has to be so perfectly diced, because once we get this dish, we're gonna puree this whole dish. So everything's gonna get meh anyways, you know, so. Let's put all our herbs in there now.
Meh is another new
Sound. Yeah, that's it.
culinary term.
Sometimes if they don't understand, go get the meh, and they understand.
Yeah, they do.
So now we're doing cream.
Real cream.
Real cream.
Not fake cream, not half and half.
No, real cream all the way. And our chicken stock, like I said, usually takes at least 12 hours to make. So as that's going, we're gonna go to start the Jameson. He's already actually making you guys some to taste. But I'll show you guys to get down on it. What's that? Yeah, go ahead and start, and then we'll toast those, and then
So what's he been doing over there, Chef?
So he's actually, we have our Jameson onions that we've made in-house. Like I said, they take about 35, 45 minutes to do. So I want to have some done, and he's going to place some up on little crostinis, and that way we guys can sample as we're doing the rest of our dishes.
So caramelized onions.
Caramelized onions, we caramelize them. We take our time slow and low. You got it, because otherwise they're going to burn, and they're not going to get sugary and soft enough. You know, I want them to just dissolve in your mouth with flavor. But the last touch, we don't season them until the end. Last touch, you hit it with the Jameson, and then season it with
Jameson whiskey.
Jameson, yeah.
Yeah, we cook with a lot of whiskey. We cook with a lot of whiskey. We cook with a lot of, wine, very flavorful items.
Wine, beer, and whiskey.
Wine, beer, and whiskey, right.
So what's on the bread? Do you butter the bread? What's on the bread? You toast it?
Usually at the restaurant, I have been doing some extra virgin olive oil on these ones. The way I'm going to show you how we do it at the restaurant, I don't have a grill here, so I have to use pans because I don't have a flat grill, but normally at the restaurant we put them on a flat grill with clarified butter, toast them, we turn them over, we top them with the Jameson onions and a 3-cheese blend that we make in-house. It's Comté cheese, Jarlsberg cheese, and aged white cheddar. And simple as that, and then we put it in a salamander and let it toast. And
Salamander is kind of a broiler kind of.
Broiler, yes. Salamander, broiler.
Now, if you're thinking about what this really was, we came up with this this particular dish by one of my favorite dishes in the world is French onion soup.
Oh yeah.
Okay, gotta love French onion soup. Well, we went, if we took out the liquid, what would you have? You'd have cooked down onions, you'd have caramelized onions, and then you'd throw in some kind of wine or something like that. Well, hey, we're an Irish pub, so let's not put wine in it, let's put whiskey in it. So we put some Jameson Irish whiskey into it, cooked it down, and of course French onion soup is topped with some Swiss cheese or something along those lines. Well, as Chef Justin said, we've got a 3-cheese blend that we use in a lot of items at the pub, and that's Jarlsberg cheese, which is just Swiss cheese. We use an aged white cheddar cheese. That's just an American-ish cheese. It's actually English, made in America. And then we use Comté cheese, C-O-M-P-T-E, Comté, which is actually a French cheese. It's kind of a real soft, buttery cheese.
See, we're going back
Yes.
to France.
You get to speak really close to me.
Do you use chicken or beef?
In the French onion soup, we would use beef.
And originally
Okay?
this recipe we did use beef base, but I had so many vegetarians asking for it, I said, you know what, this is wonderful without the beef base, and we excluded it.
So there is no beef in that. But as I said, we started with it in there, and I thought it actually tasted wonderful. And then he kind of took it out, and nobody noticed. And it was kind of like, hey, this is now vegetarian. It's a fun thing to adapt.
And this is something so easy that you could do at your house and repeat. I mean, if you could cook anything, you could do this, you know. So all we're doing is we're taking an onion and we're gonna julienne it. Like I said, whenever you're doing stuff like, especially in a large commercial kitchen, you always save all your scraps for stock.
How many of you save your scraps? For stock or for the compost lab?
Yeah, if not, put it in your compost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all work. Don't waste it. Don't throw it in the
landfill, the better for all of us. So we're just going to julienne these real quick.
Julian. It's a different cut.
Like strips. Match strips.
Question. Oh, do we have the recipe for anything spotted, Patty?
We
We do. We have the soup de pesco. We have the honey almond prawns that we're going to be doing, and we also have the vichyssoise.
The vichyssoise. As far as this goes, at the end or when you like, give me an email address and I'll send you a recipe for it.
How's that soup coming along?
Sorry, get your house in potatoes. No, okay, they're not yet.
So how do you know when the potatoes are done?
By look, by feel. Usually, I mean, once you've been doing it long enough, you can tell by look, but I always check one. Fork, stab them. So I got a saute pan over here, and we're just gonna add a little bit of butter, just a little.
Justin, I have a question for you. What's your name and where you're from?
I'm Julie and I'm from Woodland. I have a question that every single girl probably is wondering. Is he married?
Oh, that's a very important question.
No, I'm actually single with a 7-year-old daughter. She's my only girl.
There you go.
That doesn't mean he'll take another. He won't take another one.
You never know. And because they make
So we're just gonna start these in here and let them caramelize. I'm gonna actually do it a little quicker than we usually do it at the restaurant here.
Chef Justin, Lily's back here. Have another question for you.
Yes.
Isn't this recipe kind of fattening with all that cream?
This one, and you know what? If you want it, if you're vegetarian, you can exclude the chicken stock and use vegetable stock, and you don't have to do the cream. With the potatoes, it gets so creamy anyway, so if you want to leave out the cream or you want to leave out this, you can totally change this recipe and it's still going to come out great.
You could use a non-fat milk if that's really your thing, or go to a coconut milk or something like that.
Yeah, coconut milk.
You're looking
That would
for a
change it.
liquid, but it's going to add a flavor.
And you're not eating the whole thing anyway.
No, and actually when I started this yesterday, I was like, oh, should we do a veggie stock? And all these recipes I was looking at was chicken stock, chicken stock, chicken. I said, let's just do that and tell them the option to make it vegetable. You know, make your stock with all this stuff, just don't put any protein in it.
Perfect.
Okay, so you can see those are already starting to cook a little.
Chefs call chicken protein, by the way. What did you put in there? I say chicken, he says protein.
So, this is just butter that we are sauteing this in. This is clarified butter, which just means it's been cooked and all the cream and fat has been taken out, which you can have a higher smoke point, so it's not going to burn as easy. So we're going to just toast our crostinis in this.
Oh, that's how you get the crust on the crostini.
Well, I was telling them at the restaurant we have a flat grill. We don't have one here, so we have to substitute.
Got it.
Well, if you were
Okay.
at home, this is how you would do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Grills on one side, we leave the other side soft. And then which, you know, if it was toasted on both sides, it would just, you know, it wouldn't cut and bite as easily. So we're looking for a soft bread with a little bit of crunch.
And you know, we don't really have a hood here, so I'm hoping you guys are starting to smell some of the stuff we're doing up here.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, just for you tonight, that's one of the reasons I went in the back. I turned it on. Emerald Lagasse has been begging us for this particular technology, and I turned it on. This is actually a smellophone. It comes right out.
Oh yeah.
Smell it?
Doesn't it smell good?
Bam!
Right out of those speakers.
Bam!
So you can see this is what it starts at. That's what it comes out to be. And you know, this much will cook down to about that much. You know, so we start with a large pan and we do a bunch of onions and we cook it down for hours and hours until it comes, and it's just sweet, good juiciness.
Are they Vidalia?
I'm sorry?
Are they Vidalia onions? What kind of
You know what? They're just regular yellow onions.
Yeah, Vidalia, you got Walla Walla's in season right now, so you get
Yeah.
Walla Walla onions in. But any good sweet
You can even use the red onion if you'd like. You know, it's not going to make you're still going to come up with great products.
I was in Hawaii 2 weeks ago, so of course a Maui onion.
Oh, they're so good.
A Texas 1015Y out of Texas is probably one of the sweetest onions, even sweeter than a Vidalia. Texas 1015.
My favorite thing to do with those is you just slice them and make them about home.
Yeah,
And then put them on the grill, just a little pat of butter, and walk away. Come back later, the outside is burned away, the inside is so beautiful.
Nice.
When do we eat? Soon.
Yeah, Dr. Leonard Pike at Texas A&M, he developed the 1015Y. I asked him, how come you gave it such a great marketing name? 1015Y. He said, I'd like to make it simple for our Texas farmers. The Y means it's a yellow onion. He also has a 1015R, which is a, see, you could be a farmer in Texas. So what's a 1015 for?
Time of day that we can pull it out of the ground?
The date you plant it, October 15th.
Always a reason.
He has also a 1021Y, which is when do you plant that one? Yes, on my birthday.
My wife is calling.
She wants to know if you're really working today.
Oh, no.
Apparently, yeah.
So you can see we just got a little color on these, and we're going to pop them in the oven and get them a little more toasted, just because we don't want the cheese and the onions to make them soggy. So we want a little toasty crunch before we put the soggy stuff on.
Another official culinary term, pop them in the oven.
You can see we're already starting to get a little color on our pan. Like I said, I'm doing this a lot faster than we usually do it at the restaurant. Okay.
So we've got our soup, we've got our crostini.
We got our crostinis going. The next we're going to do is we're going to bring Delisa up to talk about her honey, and we're going to start preparing some almond prawns for you.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming out today. Thanks to Father Patty for having us and for using our honey. So they use our honey in multiple dishes at the restaurant, and we are Henry's Bullfrog Bees and Pure Honey products.
Love the name.
We're family owned and operated apiary in Winters, California. So we keep all of our own bees, harvest all of our own honey, bottle and label each jar by hand. So we do everything in house. So they use our habanero infused honey with the prawns that they have. And what it is it's raw wildflower honey mixed with habanero spice and pepper flakes. So it's delicious to cook with. I always say you can just really have fun with it in the kitchen, because honey's so much better to cook with than refined sugars. So, and if anyone wants to try anything too, you can come up and sample. But that one's also really good over brie too. If you like at home, if you want to make yourself a nice little appetizer, it's a really good way to go. But we also offer 2 different raw varietals of honey, which they also use too in their desserts. They like to use our raw wildflower honey.
Yes.
So our raw wildflower honey is just a wide variety of flowers our bees go to collect nectar. And it's absolutely delicious. It actually helps you with your local allergies too, because it helps build your immunity, sweats in the air. This is a nice standard honey that really cooks well with everything. So this is such a good substitute for sugar. Refined sugar doesn't give you any nutritional value. Honey has vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are great for you. So it's really great to cook with. You guys have any questions about honey? I really appreciate it. They work really hard to work with local farmers and support local farmers in our community.
I'll show you on a bigger one, don't worry.
Donice, thank you so much from Pure. I love the name of your place, Bullfrog.
Yeah, Bullfrog.
That is an awesome name, isn't it, for a honey apiary?
Yeah.
All right.
She came with us on Channel 31 for when we were representing we do a honey festival in Woodland every year. And so, well, you were there, you know.
At the festival.
So we met her right before that and started using her product, and it was just a great cause. Excuse me. And I said we got to bring her on and have her, you know, showcase her product, you know, and so that's why she's here with us.
Have a question, Lily?
Question for the honey girl. I heard that honey could heal an open wound. Is that true?
Yes, that is true. Honey is a natural anesthetic, so it helps clean your wound. and also helps with the scarring too. I always like to use our raw orange blossom honey because our bees visit orange groves, so it carries a higher concentration of vitamin C. It's also great over burns too, and great for skin, just for your skin in general.
Yeah, have you ever seen a burn on a bee? Man, they heal that quick.
I'm walking away.
One of the great things about this next dish we're going to show you too, and her honey, is I don't have to do anything to her honey besides put it on top of the food, and it's, oh man, it just brings such another level of flavor in there. If you cook your honey in some recipes, you can have a tendency to get the sugars and stuff will caramelize and you get dark. Not that you can't do it, but not only that, when you're not cooking the honey, when you cook the honey, you're taking all the health benefits away from it. So I like to use it raw, and it's called raw honey, so we use it raw.
All right, so this is now our third dish.
So this is the almond crusted prawns.
Almond crusted prawns.
So we have almonds toasted lightly. We don't want to toast them too dark because once they go into the fryer, they're going to get a little darker.
So why are you crushing them with your hand? What do you do?
I crush them because I don't want them all whole. These are slivered almonds, but I want some of them in there in the crunch. We're going to use this and a panko as our dredging. Very, very simple recipe. I don't even have a recipe. Oh no, I do have a recipe, but it's very simple. You join in the restaurant. We didn't bring our Cuisinart. We couldn't find a blade back there, but you join the restaurant. I take my panko and this and just put it in my Cuisinart, pulse it a few times, and then you end up with a nice dredge. So we got.
Hey, Father Patty has the recipe for you on these honey crusted prawns. You're going to want that recipe. Now, when you're toasting prawns, you do it in the oven or you do it on the stove top?
When we're toasting the prawns, actually we fry these prawns. So we deep fry them.
Okay, so you don't toast the almonds.
We don't toast them. We toast them very, very lightly because they come and they're just so, there's no color to them at all. So we toast them very lightly. I always tell these guys, you gotta watch it and set your timer because they're very expensive in case we burn it. But not only that, but like I said, once you put it in the fryer, they're gonna get darker. So we have our almonds and our Japanese breadcrumbs, panko, and we do pretty much 2 to 1. You know, two panko to 1 almond. Flour, just regular all-purpose flour. Make sure you season it. Always season your food. Always taste your food. Okay. This Chef Breedlove whisk right here.
Yes, you remember that. Although his hands are bigger.
Oh yeah. Makes it quicker. So I've already cleaned these prawns. All we're doing is we take the shell off it. I'll show you one right now actually, and I'll show you a bigger one when we do our soup and peche. But we're taking those and we're just going to put them in our flour.
You got the little tiny ones, the 16.
Yeah, these are 1620s, yeah.
Nice.
Maybe to see the one with the
A really big one.
So you just peel the shell off, and same thing like this. I keep my shells because they go to our fish broth. You know, so we always try to use as much of any animal. That means, you know, we're trying to use the whole product.
Waste is money, waste is money. Is that right, Father Patty?
So actually these ones are already, when I buy them, they're actually already deveined. They have a little thing that goes in there and sucks it out, but you still have to check. Now on this, we kind of butterfly them to the extreme, so they kind of open up like that. When you see that little thing on the bottom, that's not their vein. You've already took their vein out. You'll know the vein. That's just their back, that's their spine. But if you do it like that, you get more to bread. Okay, so we're gonna flour these.
I like your thinking, more to bread. Yes. That means more honey.
Actually, I need to cut them a little more.
More honey, it means more almonds.
Oh, you got a question? Yes, sir. What's your name? Where you from? Oh, this is a very important question. Do we get to taste this food?
Yeah, we have tasters. We're going to be having tasters at Jameson's coming up right now. We're going to taste the soup, and we're going to taste the wontons that we're going to do at the end.
Oh yeah, we're going to taste it, we're going to take it back, we're going to proportion it out, and we're going to come out and serve you. Yep.
So these are egg wash. This egg wash is just eggs with a little bit of water mixed with stuff. And whenever I'm showing my chefs to do this, I say have a dry hand and a wet hand. So actually, so I have flour, egg wash, and then our panko and almond mix. Very simple.
I have a question for you, Tessa. What's your name and where are you from?
Alyssa, my name's Alyssa. I'm from Sacramento. I was wondering if there's any good like non-fish substitutes with the crust.
With the what?
With the crust, if there's any like good
You can do
non-fish
chicken very
substitutes.
easily. Very easily do a chicken with the same.
Yeah, very insane. Exactly. This dish with chicken, oh my goodness, you know, or even vegetables. Yeah, I mean, do the exact same, you know.
Yeah, Fats does a honey walnut chicken.
Yeah, they do.
At Fats. So yeah, you can do a chicken. You can do poultry.
Pats is not Pats, it's different.
No.
Although Pats is a little, never mind.
Question from the honey girl.
So, the egg wash, why do you add the water to it?
To thin it down a little so it's not so thick. Yeah.
That is a really good question. I never thought of that one. Man.
I never really did too. That's how it showed.
Hey, if you just walked in like you just walked in, Father Patty's Irish Pub, downtown Woodland, and Chef Justin is in the house. He's cooking 5 dishes for us. He's on his 3rd dish. We got 2 more to do, and we're going to be sampling out as we go.
Nicely done.
Roast melts about done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to head to the back and I'm going to get those plates.
Good eye, Father Patty. Good eye.
One of the most important things in the kitchen, and I'm always telling everybody in my kitchen, but they're all really good about it, but wash your hands. If you're gonna touch prawns, you're gonna touch fish, you're gonna touch this, wash your hands. It's that simple. Just wash your hands.
And before your husband comes to the dinner table, wash your hands.
That's the same things I tell my kid before we, you know, like, did you wash your hands? I heard her come out of the bathroom and I didn't hear the faucet go, and I'm like, did you wash your hands? She does that.
You notice he has 2 different cutting boards, one for his vegetables, one for his protein over there. Always keep them separate.
Yeah, and that's we actually have color-coded
Blue is fish.
blue fish, green vegetables, yellow chicken, brown cooked meats, red raw meats, and the newest one that I have that I don't have one, but I want one. It's purple for allergies, in case if you have a nut allergy or something like that.
Cool. Okay.
Trust me, I'm gonna get one of those purple cut for us soon. This soup,
Well, you know, if you win the competition this year, I bet Father Patty will get you one.
I'm in one, yeah. So the soup, like I said, you check your potatoes. Well, it just smashed into like mashed potatoes, you know, so you know they're cooked. So this we can go ahead and puree now, and this is actually you serve this soup chilled or room temperature. I already have one that we've chilled off, so we don't have to wait for
So
this
get the
to chill. We can start
sheet,
souping.
get the
So,
sheet.
Yeah, so I need to.
That's what he called it, right?
And actually, at the restaurant we use a blender, but for show purposes, we're gonna do it this way. But it's always fun. It still makes it the same thing. But before I even do that,
Thank you.
another thing, as you know, like I just said, make sure you're always washing your hands. If you're cooking and you're gonna be serving food to people, always taste your food, always. Because it might need just a little bit more. What he's saying, that make sure you have enough salt and pepper, that's true. But you know, you can always add a little more, you can't take it back, always. So that's why I tell my chefs, don't put it on there, put this much and then we'll taste it. That's all about being a chef and having a palate.
We had a chef here earlier today, and maybe you noticed Chef Justin, but in his pocket here where you have a pin, he had a whole stack of little
Taster spoons, yeah.
Little taster spoons.
Yeah,
He just reaches up and grabs it.
I brought mine, I throw it every day in my kitchen. I'm like, where's my tasting spoons? Because someone always does that, put pins and stuff with them, then I can't use it because it's dirty. I'm like, oh, come on. Tasting spoons always. Taste, 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 taste again. You know? Especially something like this soup you cook, and it's potatoes, and a bunch of vegetables, and cream, and liquid. And then once you chill it, it kind of soaks up some of that seasoning. So you always want to readjust your seasoning, check it at the end. Check it when you first start cooking it, check it at the end of your cooking it, and then check it again before you serve it.
I love the way you call it the layers.
Yeah, you got to build layers of flavor, and it's the same thing when we're making these stocks. we're gonna just throw everything in a pot and do it. You know, we roast the bones first, you know, and that's part of taking the time of making good food. You know, and that's that's a slow food part of it.
So how's our prawns coming along?
So our prawns are right here. I'm gonna actually stick them in my deep fryer. I have some more over here. I get some extra for you guys.
Ooh, the deep fryer.
Oh yeah, that's ready.
Can't be.
Actually, look, I can tell by the oil, but when I grab it, I'm like, I can feel it. I'm like, it's ready. But look, it has a little light that says ready.
$3.95.
I'm doing $3.65 right now.
$3.65.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, wait, hold on, Lily, I'm coming. Give me time, and I'll come to you next. Lily, yes.
Chef, on your recipe, you say deep fryer, but at home, if you don't have a deep fryer, can we use like a frying pan?
Yeah, you know,
Or bake it?
a cast iron pan holds the heat really good. You can use a cast iron and just don't put your oil up too high.
Can you bake it?
You can bake them. You can bake them. I would suggest putting a little clarified butter on it or oil and bake them in the oven and make sure you turn them though.
Justin, I have another question. What's your name? Where are you from?
Iris from Carbondale, and I was wondering where the honey comes in.
Where does the honey come in?
So it's dressed right on top. Once the dish is cooked, we just top it with it. This other one, the wonton that I don't have a recipe for, it actually goes in the mixture. Whoops, it goes on my pepper. But yeah, that's what I was saying about their product is such a great product. I don't have to open it and doctor it up at all or anything, because like a lot of things at the restaurant, we use everything as fresh as possible. I mean, I have canned ketchup there and stuff, but other than that, if it comes out of can, I'm not serving nothing straight out of a can. But her product is so great, we pour it on there. They totally made the dish. Her honey made this dish. You know, this dish could have been just that without her honey, you know, and we could have served it with like a sweet Thai chili sauce or something like that.
Oh, I see why she was asking. She had read your recipe, and it's not on there what the directions are for the honey.
Well, that's the thing too, because she also does her wildflower, her orange blossom, her almond. So if you're not somebody that's into heat or spice, substitute a different whatever honeys, and man, I'll tell you, man, you can't go wrong. Okay,
All right, so we're 3 down, 2 to go.
2 to go. So he's going to be up next. I'm going to cut some of his fish and show you for him. But this is just such a fun dish to do, and super easy. And it goes great as an appetizer, or it also goes great as an entree. At the restaurant, we serve it as an appetizer with 4, or if you want it as an entree, we serve it with 6, and we give you mashed potatoes and our daily vegetable. Which lately we've been doing the haricot verse, the French green beans, and yellow wax beans.
Are you open right now? Who's cooking right now?
I have 2 of my great cooks. I have Mary Cruz and Jovan there right now.
Oh man, I just want to leave here and go there and eat.
So look, before it's dressed up or anything, that's your prawns. And like you said, if you want to substitute chicken like that or something for it,
dress it.
So now we need her honey. A little honey.
I cannot wait to taste one of these. Oh, you get the big jar of honey from you.
Oh yeah, we go through it pretty often. Actually, I'm gonna need to get some more from you soon. But you know, and this is the fun part about when you're making it at your house. You can, like I said, substitute the honey, substitute something else for it. You're not gonna hurt anybody's feelings. You're eating it, so. These are wonderful microgreens that we get in house right there.
Microgreens? What's a microgreen?
You know, it's pretty much, we have pretty much sprouts, you know, but we have all kinds of different, there's the red, I don't know, you can tell me better. There's micro cilantro, micro arugula in here. This one I get is called the Intensity Mix, and it's from Del Rio Botanical.
So when you plant any seed and the seed comes up and the first little sprout puts out two little leaves, that's when they cut it. Microgreens. So you can do broccoli, you can do radishes, you can do, and it has the full flavor. You can taste them.
Yeah, and it just adds that nice little hint of color and nice. This is a great garnish that we don't have to chop up at all, and it just works out great. But that's your honey on an almond prawns right there.
I think I'll stand right here. No, you gotta watch him. Watch him. Okay, so number 4. We're on to number 4.
All right, number 4.
Oh, we got a cheese.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Soup. We got a cheese of soup.
See the color on those now?
Oh, perfect.
Good call, James. Thank you. So this is just a hand immersion blender.
Smart person.
I like the big robo cubes that you can put to the back of your boat. Use as a trolling motor and stuff, you know. But this works for what we're doing right now.
And then you would chill this in the refrigerator.
Yes, chill it until completely chilled. You know, if you're making a big batch, use the ice bath or either that. I don't know. Some people have paddles that could cool it down. Go ahead and put them on a plate and let's serve it.
So this would be a great soup for one night as a hot soup, and the next day as a cold
That's
soup.
a cold soup. Exactly. You make it for one night and you have potato leek. Actually, you can serve it and not puree it, and serve it and then puree it the next day. That way it makes it a little different. And chill it and serve it.
Oh,
But
nice.
you can
Nice
see
idea.
as I pureed it how much thicker it got just because of the potatoes. And if you have a problem, mainly if you cook your potatoes enough and use the right potatoes, they'll get creamy enough. If you puree it and it tastes a little gritty, put it through a strainer. And you'll have a nice creamy product, and it's not gonna be grating. So.
All right, so we're gonna take that in the back. And you got some chilled stuff in the back, right?
Yes.
That's what we're gonna be having.
Did you just do the soup? I was busy doing this.
Yeah, you just did the soup.
So I gotta go now serve the
Yeah.
soup because they probably want to eat some of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's this?
Well, that's more the toast melted.
Okay.
If there's somebody else who didn't get one,
Anybody need the onion on the toast? I'll bring some to you. Now, just as a fine restaurant, you give a tip
Okay, cool.
to the wait staff.
Yeah.
Give me a really good tip. Like, don't drink and drive, you know, some good tip. What's your tip for me today?
Say that I just enjoy watching you on TV. It's just nice to see you.
Oh, well, thank you. Did anybody else need one? Did you get one? You can have seconds here. We got them. Lily wants a second. What's my tip? Okay. What's my tip?
Don't leave the house with dirty underwear.
Don't leave the house in dirty underwear. That's a very good tip.
I got one. If you have a dirty cutting board and you flip it over, it's clean. As long as the bottom's clean.
Oh, everybody, look, Justin, everybody wants seconds for this.
Awesome, eat them up, eat them up.
What's my tip?
Don't take any wooden nickels.
Okay.
My father used to tell me that all the time.
What's my tip?
Don't forget to feed your pets.
Don't forget to feed the pet. What's my tip, ladies?
I can't sleep.
You're very enterprising.
Okay, be enterprising. That's good. That's a good tip. You got good tips for me? Secretary at the fourth. Okay, I'll take that tip. Lily, I'm coming back to you. You got a good tip for me?
Don't drive while sleeping.
Don't drive while sleeping. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing this right now.
Eat at Father Patty's.
Eat at Father Patty's.
Love your neighbors.
I like that one.
You want to flick
All right.
You guys don't mind eating some prawns to you? Pass them around.
We got to take them in the back first.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait a second. Oh, what are
You
you
gotta
doing?
get one of those, man.
Come on.
So, we only had a couple mics, and my sous chef is actually hard of hearing, and I don't know if it intensifies all his other senses, because he has the most amazing palate, especially for a young person I've worked with. He didn't lose all his hearing from listening to metal, but trust me, he listens to a lot. But he's just a great guy. I was actually when I saw his application, he was the first one that applied when we were getting the restaurant ready to open. And I saw it and I was like, oh, this young kid, blah, blah, blah. The place he worked, I didn't really have much respect for him. You know, I brought him on, and by the third day, we just clicked. And I'm a blessing. Father Patty's is a blessing to have him with us. So all I'm going to do is talking for him as he cooks. cooks. But right now, I'm just gonna cut up, actually, if you see on our recipe, there's actually sturgeon in our recipe. We've been using a Passport Ranch, sturgeon, steelhead, catfish. This is Passport Ranch. They're up at Slew House, and just a great product. I actually called the other week to do our menu unveiling for Dinners on Main, which this dish is gonna be a part of. We have, this year, we're doing the first appetizer plate, which is an ag medley. We're doing a bunch of different pickled vegetables from different farms. The second course is going to be from a restaurant what they call Morgan's on Main, and the third restaurant is that's doing the soup, they're doing the soup, and then a restaurant called Savory's doing the salad. Then we're doing both entrees. I'm doing a veal osso buco, and he's going to be doing the sopa de pesco, which is pretty much, it's a soup, but it's more like a stew, so it's like a fish stew. Okay. We have Passport Ranch steelhead, and we have Passport Ranch caviar. I have these locals like to get them actually Nigerian prawns.
Wow. Those are the tiniest prawns I've ever seen.
You know what? This was the smallest I could get. There was two small sizes smaller. These are U5s, and there was U4s and U3s. So there's 5 of these to a pound.
Were there any U2s?
What's that?
Were there any U2s?
And they sing. That's a band that sings. They sing really good.
You know, I think that they turned a loss or something. Yeah, but these things are great, you know, and like especially just for the parents. And some people, oh, head on, but you know what? Like we said, we try to use the whole animal. Last year we roasted whole pigs for the dinner, so me using head-on prawns wasn't too far of a thing to stretch, you know. But I'm going to show you how to clean one. Actually, these have been actually shelled but haven't been deveined, because trust me, on a big sucker like this, you have the big vein.
Official term for that thing, big sucker.
Big sucker. But yeah, so as I was showing you guys earlier, you just slice it open, pull the vein out. Some people will clean the heads. I don't recommend it. I recommend cooking it with the head on, and then you take it and you slurp the stuff out of the head. It's actually it's like your roe, you know. So I'm going to show you one. It's super simple, like these little guys. You just peel them, and if you crack them off when you want to peel them, because they're little sections, you keep the tail. You take all this shell off. Right here, and for visual purposes, and not only that, but just like when you're cooking a steak with the bone in, you got the shell, it's going to give it more flavor. Did it peel a little bit?
Okay.
Thank you, honey girl, for helping.
Okay. So you can see it's clean now. Okay.
How's the soup? You had the chilled soup, right?
Yeah.
You like that chilled? Have you ever had chilled soup before? Delicious, huh?
So we've been doing gazpacho a lot lately in the restaurant. It's hard to find cold soups because people heard cold soup and they're like, kind of like, what? You know? One we haven't tried this summer that I'm going to be doing next week is Bjorsh, the beet soup, the Russian beet soup. But it's hard to get cold soups out there sometimes.
I do cold blueberry soup.
Very cool. That's very cool. You get people to try it and they're like, wow, and you change your mind on it. So we're just gonna dice this up. This is gonna go in a stew. So we're gonna dice these pieces of steelhead and salmon from Passport Ranch. And like I said, I called Passport Ranch the other week, and I was getting some caviar for them for the dinner also. Then I wanted to get some steelhead roe, and I wanted the raw stuff. And I said, okay, I need 5 ounces of steelhead roe. They said, oh well, Thomas has it all. And I said, Thomas? Who's Thomas? What do you mean Thomas got it all? Oh, Thomas Keller from French Laundry. I'm like, okay, so that's the quality product we're using that restaurants like French Laundry. Like I said, if you get this and you have any scraps, save that stuff for your fish stock, you know? That's where all the flavor really comes from, is the stock. And just like I said about our chicken stock, we started this morning and let it cook all day before about half an hour before we left, and we chilled it, and then we came, and then as soon as we got here, it was the first thing we started cooking again. So we're just letting it reduce and intensify all those flavors.
Chef Justin?
Yes.
Lily was back there enjoying your bread and your soup, and she dipped your bread into the soup.
That's okay.
And it was even better.
Yeah, that's not... bread with soup. I always, actually, when I plate it right here, I'll plate some bread with it because, yeah, bread with soup, it's a must.
That's the only thing a soup is good for, tipping the bread in.
Oh, yeah. So as I'm cleaning up this fish and these prawns over here, he's over there dicing tomatoes and onions, and today he's like, where'd that case of corn come from? And the walk-in. I said, well, I ordered a case of corn. He said, why? I said, because we're gonna use some of the super de pecho. And he said, why? I said, because it's seasonal, and I thought it would just add another sweet element and color. He's like, why'd you change my recipe on that? So yeah, I just thought it was something that when we did the menu unveiling last week, we didn't have corn in it, and I looked at it and I was like, you know, it makes us add some corn, you know, so we're gonna add corn to it.
I want to show you something here. I looked at this corn, and if you feel the top, it's pointed, and that tells me a couple things. You see that top right there? The farmer did not do anything wrong. This is what happens when you have 80 degrees one day and 100 degrees the next day. Corn needs growing plateaus. Every plateau is 5 degrees. And when you skip several plateaus, this is what you end up with, less pollinated corn. So the farmer didn't do anything bad. This is just corn that had some heat one day. Yes.
That's why the tip's like that?
Yep.
His grandpa's actually a farmer, does corn, tomatoes, and almonds, hybrid farms in Woodland.
Oh, cool.
So last year I was a 6-time winner of the YOLO Tomato Festival Cooking Championship.
Yeah, 6-time winner.
I passed it on last year to him and Pat's daughter, and they took first place. So he's going again to do first place.
Nice.
Champion. So, awesome. Not only that, but it was his grandfather's last year of doing their farm where they were going to be doing the tomatoes. So it was our last year to go, and we actually got to harvest them with my daughter and him. We went out to the farm with his grandpa and harvested them and brought them in for our dishes.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
So here's
go ahead, James. You do your thing, and I'll explain what you're doing.
Honey roasted prawns. So you got his onions, tomatoes, and corn.
Onions, tomatoes, and corn, and he also has some garlic over there. And he's starting with his olive oil with a hot pan. We're gonna get that. Go to get that nice and hot, James. Like I said, we're not used to that electric.
We're not allowed to have open flames in our kitchen with the kind of people that we have here, all the people that we have. One year, we had the executive chef from P.F. Chang's from Southern California fly in to do a show for us. And of course, it's P.F. Chang's.
He brought a wok.
Big wok, big fire, right? So he's out at the gate out there. He has this huge propane tank and a huge homemade wok. And they said, you can't come in here with that. And so they called me up and they said, you gotta let him in. He flew all the way up. So we had to call the general manager of the California State Fair. I made an agreement with the general manager. I said, look, I will stand right next to him with a fire extinguisher. He said, okay, he can come in and cook.
Okay, go ahead. So first thing he's gonna do is wet some of his onions, get those cooking. And this is a really quick dish, especially when you have a nice hot broth. You throw your stuff in there, throw a little bit of wine in there. As you see, he's seasoning it just how I started mine. He's seasoning it already. Next thing he's going to throw in is going to be his corn.
Another official culinary term from Justin, throw in.
Throw it. Just throw it in there. So.
Policeman, thank you for keeping us safe today. We appreciate you very much. I know it's hot out there. Thank you so much. Hey, how come he's the only guy in shorts? Showing off your legs, huh?
He's got range.
Oh, I know where they're going. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going walking through that door for some chocolate milk, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. I know what they're after.
So you can see, just like I was doing earlier, as soon as he put his corn in, he seasoned it again because he put another ingredient in, wants another level of flavor. Now that you put something in there that hasn't had any seasoning, then you need to season it more.
I told you to just sit here, you're going to learn a whole bunch.
Yeah.
It's like having a whole culinary class.
And these, actually, okay, some people don't think it's onions is sweet, but onions are sweet and corn is sweet. So we have two sweets. Now we're going to have something with a little more acid in it. And he's going to hit it with your garlic first. And we got saffron.
Nice.
So that's one of the main flavors of this dish that is actually in the broth also. You want to taste that saffron and that, then you get your money for it.
Saffron threads, right?
Saffron threads, yeah. This is, I got this an ounce, and you can get it from, 60, 100, 120 upwards, but actually in the last 2 years, it's kind of gone down a little bit, it seems like, and you can get an ounce for about $60, and this is wonderful, wonderful stuff for $60. As my sous chef was just telling me, he's like, I don't want to add the garlic too soon, and if you burn your garlic, it'll get bitter instead of giving you that nice, good flavor, so you don't want to get too bitter. But we are going to add a little bit of this. And this stuff's expensive, so be sparing. No, it doesn't take much to get that color and that flavor out of it. It's so strong. When we were making the broth today, he opened it across the kitchen.
Chef James is telling me to turn on the smellaphone again.
Yeah.
You smell it?
I can hear it.
Oh, I smell it. Boy, that is good. Wow.
As soon as he opened this today in the kitchen, I was halfway across the kitchen. I was like, he opened the saffron. I can smell it,
Father Patty and Irish pub.
Yeah.
How long does saffron last?
You know what? I don't ever have any more in my kitchen than more than 6 months. But this, if you spend $60 and put this in your kitchen, trust me, it'll last 4 or 5 years because you're not going to use that much. So he's just telling me, so as soon as you put that garlic in, you can smell it. Now next thing we're going to do is the glaze it. So we got that same white wine that we're using.
I hear Father Patty is in the confessional. I hear him back there.
This is a Chardonnay. If you want to use a Pinot or whatever kind of white wine you want to use, it's not going to affect it that much, But it's just use a nice white wine. Use your box white wine. It doesn't matter.
Oh, that smells amazing.
And you can smell it already, huh? See, and that's what you're mainly smelling is that garlic and that saffron too. Tomatoes now?
Tomatoes next.
Wow.
You save the onions for later? You want
No, we just
decided not to use them. Okay.
What kind of tomatoes?
Actually, I did cherry tomatoes, and we have Roma tomatoes in this. Right now, all the heirlooms are coming in season. I would suggest using heirlooms. So what he's telling me right now, he just said same thing. He's adding another ingredient, especially the tomatoes, which are very high capacity. He's going to add some more salt, some more pepper, which he just already did. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to throw in these vanilla clams, which are just beautiful. Nice large suckers too, so I want to put those in first because they're going to take time to steam open and pop open.
All right, is this our number 4 dish or number 5 dish?
Number 4, I don't know if we'll get to 5.
This is number 5, or number 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
What time is it?
We're having way too much fun. I'm learning too much. Whoa, 7 o'clock.
Oh yeah, we still got an hour. We got plenty of time. So what you can do right here also is you can start adding a little bit of your broth. And you can put a cap on it, which let me find you a pan, we'll put a cap on it.
So that it will steam.
So it'll steam. So it'll put a little broth. Why don't you cut a little bit of time? Now I know those clams are going to take a little while to open. They're not going to take as long as this. Sorry, they're not going to take as long as this catfish or this steelhead to cook. But these prawns are pretty big, so I'm going to go and throw those in now. For him. Not only that, then he doesn't have to go back and keep washing his hands. I'll just do it for him.
So the catfish and the other fish, how long will that take?
I'd say 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
Yeah.
So the last 4 minutes of cooking.
Yeah. Especially, it depends on how the size chunks you cut, like that. Last time when we were doing steelhead, it takes actually a little bit longer than the steelhead would. Steelhead will break up a little more. Sturgeon's more of a sturdy fish, so there's some oregano in here. something you could keep adding a little stock, almost like a risotto. It needs a little more liquid, put a little more liquid in it.
How's that looking, you guys?
Almost there. Great. Yeah.
Smells good.
Smells good.
Julie, we have some best. Nice to meet you. Yes. Are you going to show?
Okay. Those clouds are just starting to peak a little bit, starting to lift open, and the frogs are getting a little red.
Did you say peak?
Well, they're starting to open a little peek out there, like, oh, is anybody there? So we're gonna go to put our fish in.
Got it.
I'm gonna go snag some
And for the fresh herbs, you're going to do that right at the very end.
Well, we're gonna do that, yeah, right towards the end. And not only that, the last thing we're gonna finish it with is that's it. Just the herbs. Little finishing seasoning, and good to go. Finish it with the stock a little.
No whiskey in here?
Yeah, we can put it. Actually, our osobuco, we did Irish, we did Jameson in it. You know, osobuco, I've never made osobuco with using whiskey, but we're an Irish restaurant. We're bringing our menu to Dinner Talk Maine. I had to have some Jameson in there. So my osobuco, I was like, and Jameson, red wine, and Jameson. So it worked out good. And on the recipe, you can see it actually says put it in a separate pot. You can do this all in one pot. You can do it separate, just depends. But one thing, the last thing it says on the recipe is don't add too much stock. It's more of a stew than a soup. And it's called a sopa de pesco, so if you want to make it a soup, add more broth.
I got it here. If you want his soup recipe, I've got it here. So raise your hands if you want this. I'll bring it to you.
Go ahead and cover that. So I'd say this has a minute and a half, 2 minutes at the most to cook, and then he's gonna play it for you and show you how beautiful it looks. Alright, how we looking, Chef James?
Father Patty,
Yes.
everybody wants that bread recipe. It's the one recipe you didn't bring.
It is the one, I have cards right here. Email me and I will email you. How about that one? And it's the world's easiest email. It's fatherpatties@gmail.com.
Look at that with the corn.
Anybody else? There we go. Here's a card. Just email me and I will email you back.
And they don't know.
Oh, that was Jameson Toast Melts. Jameson like the whiskey. Jameson Toast Melts. Melts. Melt. Like melting the cheese. That is on our menu.
All right, so Chef James is going to start plating this now.
This is how you would serve this in the restaurant?
Yes.
Ooh, they've opened up.
Oh yeah.
They're not just peeking, they're saying, hi, come get me.
Yeah, they're ready. Definitely. Let me grab you some.
If anybody wants to taste some of this honey, come on up while he's doing that. She's got some beautiful honey.
Oh, I got it.
And I suggest the habanero honey, which sounds really, really hot, but it's not.
Had a question right here.
Thank you.
So that's one plate. If I ordered that dish, that's what I get.
Yeah.
And ballpark, how much would I pay for that?
$9.95?
If we did this in the restaurant, I'd say probably around $22 to $26 depending on the fish.
Depending on the fish and the price that we can get on the fish. The Passmore Ranch fish that we're just, we're now bringing on in is a little more expensive, but it's local and something like catfish. Can you explain the catfish, Justin?
Well, he kind of told me it's not a bottom. They teach them. I don't know how they teach them, but for some way, the way they feed them, they actually eat on top.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And most catfish has got that kind of dirty, muddy taste to it. The other catfish they call white catfish because it is not a bottom-feeding fish. And they didn't actually teach the fish anything, but what they do is the food that they feed them, they go to the food. The food that they feed them floats. So they eat off the top, and so the fish has this white, very light flavor, beautiful catfish versus that muddy taste.
Now, if you're ordering this in the restaurant, that's enough to feed 2 people. My wife and I could eat that.
You could. But then you'd have to have dessert.
Well, of course.
And we have some beautiful desserts.
All right, so what's dish number 5?
All right, dish number 5, we're going to do wontons.
Ladies and gentlemen, wontons. We're going to finish it with wontons.
We're going to do cream cheese wontons, and we're going to, actually, Chef James is going to go in the back and grab the wontons for me.
Just a walk.
Go in the back and grab the wontons for me.
And also walking it around so you can actually see it.
I'll be right back.
See how yellow the fish has become?
So before I start this next dish, I'd like to introduce you to our videographer and publicist, Randy Russell. He's going to talk to you a little bit about Dinners on Main that we're doing.
Thanks, Justin. Yeah, I found out yesterday that was the publicist for the pub. That was kind of weird.
And so much more. Just a great friend and a great guy to be around.
Yeah, I actually had to write up all these recipes last night. And so that was actually really fun. So I'm actually a board member for Dinners on Main. If you guys have the bridge dinner, the dinner that goes across the bridge, we do one on Main Street in Woodland. For the last 3 years, called Dinner on Main. So you can imagine Main Street Woodland. Imagine this long table, 635 people sitting at this long table. And we've been doing it for 3 years now. And this year, Justin, thank you. Justin is actually, we call him our big toe. He is our head chef this year. And we're actually grateful to him having him there because he's fantastic. But yeah, like one of the zuppa de pecho, that veggie is one of the dishes. And the ossobuco, as you mentioned. What's unique about this dinner is it's not just one restaurant. This is the only place I've ever seen this happen, where you have like 6 restaurants all working at one place to make this dinner happen. And it's amazing to have all these chefs from these fantastic restaurants, Buckhorn, Morgan's on Main, Savory Cafe, and many more, and they're all working together. And it's a big conglomeration, and it's fantastic. The chefs, Justin could actually walk into Savory Cafe and say, "Hey, I'm out of spoon. I'm out of these little plastic spoons, whatever." He can walk right into the kitchen and grab something. He can do that at Burger Saloon. You don't see that.
Great neighbors, great community. Yeah. Just a real small town feeling. And sometimes chefs are kind of like rock stars and they'll be kind of egotistical with each other, and not with what do you need? How do we get it done? Let me help you. And it's a great working with chefs like that. Not only that, working with chefs like that, you just want to showcase how good what you can do. So it puts you on the top of your game working with other chefs.
Exactly. So one of the things we do, thank you. One of the things we do now with Dinner on Main is we are a nonprofit. So when the profit this last couple of years went to an edible teaching garden. And if you go down to Father Patty's, you hang a right onto First Street, right where the City Hall is in Woodland, and where grass used to be is now an edible teaching garden. And so we just opened it. It's almost done. We almost have a gate on it.
This recipe is something we actually don't just put our honey on top of it. We actually mix it in with our recipe. It's a really quick, simple last one for you. You guys are going to be getting some tasting of it soon. It's a cream cheese wonton. I'm sure people have had them, or they call them rangoons. We do ours a little sweet, a little spicy. So that's where her honey comes into play.
Does anyone have any bee-related questions or honey-related questions? Do you want me to say a few little fun facts? So, as I said earlier, bees pollinate 1/3 of the fruits, vegetables, and nuts that we eat. In one hive, there's anywhere between 30,000 to 60,000 bees in one hive, which is a lot. There's 3 different types of bees that live in a hive. Everyone knows there's one queen bee, so she's female, and she lays all the eggs in the hive. Then there may be anywhere from like 50 to maybe 100 drones. Those are the only male bees in the hive. So all the worker bees are all female. So it's a very female dominant bee box, that's for sure. So when you see bees out flying around collecting nectar, going to collect water and everything like that, they're at the very end of their life cycle. They're worker bees. At day, I think it is 18 is their first day out of the hive. And what they do then is guard the hive. And then after that, they will be forager bees. So a worker bee lives anywhere from 35 to 45 days. And the queen bee can live anywhere from 1 to 5 years. So she has to lay up to 2,000 eggs a day because she has to keep replenishing her hive. You have a question? So what males do, they're only there to actually mate with the queen. Their only job is to mate with the queen. So they go outside of the hive to mate, and then after they mate, they actually die. The men really don't have the best job in the hive. Or during winter time, if they'll kick them out. The worker bees will kick the drone out because he'll eat too much food and take up too much space. Yeah, so he has one purpose, and that is just to mate with the queen. No, they don't. Not over a year. Yeah. So, which is really interesting. Do they what?
That's the zucca de veggie. That's the fish.
So, they make their hive in your trees? Do they? Yeah, they like a dark enclosed space. That's usually what bees like. So you know how sometimes people get them stuck in their chimney and different stuff like that? It's because they like a dark enclosed place. So they may go to the hollow part of the tree. So a lot of people, there's hives all around you and people just don't really notice. Yeah, so. Bees can fly 2.5 miles outside of their hive. So if they're stressed, they'll fly further. They can fly up to 5 miles, but they're 2.5 miles. That's how you get different raw varietals of honey. We put our bees in an orange grove. That's a nice sized orange grove. And our bees are going to collect nectar from those certain flowers. So that's how we get an orange blossom honey. So, yeah. One more question, sorry. Yeah. So the orange blossom is from our bees going to the orange grove. So we don't flavor that one, it's just from the nectar source the bees collect from. The wildflower, it's whatever they feel like going to. So all different wildflowers, all different weeds, different blooms in trees. So that's how those taste different, is because they're different nectar sources. So every flower has a different flavor profile and it shows in the honey. So.
Thank you, honey girl. Yes, Lily, you have another question.
Yes. Right? Yes. So then what about the plain one? Is that as better as the wild one?
So the wildflower honey is more of a standard varietal. So the wildflower honey is more of a standard honey that you see everywhere. So that one is best for allergies because you get a wide variety of pollens in there. So yes, so it's best for allergies. And one quick tip. So a teaspoon of honey a day helps build your immunities to so it's bothering you in the air. But if you put it in coffee or tea, let it cool down, because if you boil honey, like Chef said earlier, then you cook out the pollens and the nutrients that are good for you. So let it cool first.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.
Hey, Chef Justin, finish us off.
All right,
Real
let's
quick.
finish this off. Okay, thank you, Denise. So we're doing cream cheese wontons. We call it sweet hot wonton. It's cream cheese, so we have cream cheese right here. I've already sliced up, it's been softened, so I've had it out for a little while. If you don't want to leave it out and let it get in that danger zone, put it in your microwave for a little bit and soften it up a little first. I got a KitchenAid, some people have them. If not, just use a bowl and mix it good. Okay, so I got cream cheese. Now we're gonna go with our habanero honey, give it some heat and some sweet.
I like the way this is looking already.
Okay.
Her honey. That's right. From the honey girl.
Actually, ask Denise what you think. Denise, we usually serve these in the restaurant with the sweet Thai chili sauce. I was thinking the almond or the wild or the honey would all go awesome on it. So you want to doctor those up? Just put a little bit on each one.
Great. And ladies and gentlemen, before we leave here tonight, he's going to finish this up. But I want everybody to tell Chef James here, thank you in sign language so he can see you. All right.
All right, so I have the habanero honey, the cream cheese. We got minced green onions or scallions, sugar, which we already have put quite a bit of sweet in there, but it's gonna need a little bit more sugar too. Just break it down a little, and a little more heat. So we have some cayenne pepper. I'll take a nice pinch of that, put it in there. If you want a little spicier, put another pinch. Then just a tiny bit of cinnamon. Cinnamon, just like a lot of spices or herbs, can be very overpowering if you use too much. Like I said, you can't take it back. You can always put more. So always start with a little, add, taste.
Hey Justin, the crowd's getting really rough out here, man. They said, where's his recipe for this one too? Well, Father Patty, come get his card. He'll send it to you.
Yeah, definitely. And these ones I thought, like, they're kind of quick, simple, and you could take a twist or turn on it anyways, but not that, I don't think I've made a recipe yet. That was the problem when we opened the restaurant. James came, I'm like, make this. He's like, how do you make it? I was like, Harry, let's make a recipe. So you can see already it's nice, whipped up by the spatula. Small spatula? Yeah, watch it.
What a treat we've had tonight. Those of you who have been here for an hour and a half, what a treat this has been.
Egg wash. We're doing the same thing like we did earlier, some egg wash. Actually, this isn't for breading purposes. This is just to make the wonton stick to each other. So a little water, just a splash. I'd say if it was one egg, which that is, I'd use a teaspoon of water. It's not that, maybe a tablespoon of water, not that much. Okay, we're gonna brush, actually, you can do it bigger if you'd like. At the restaurant, we cut our wonton wrappers into 4s. And then egg wash them before you put your topping on. And then do one of those blocks. Right here.
All right, load it up into that pastry bag.
On Friday, I'll be in the chef competition here, and you think I made a mess now? I only get one section on Friday. Wait until you see my section then.
It is the Golden Bear Chef's Challenge, and we have our preliminary rounds will be this Friday. We have 3 kitchens, 3 chefs, 3 rounds. That's 9 great chefs here from Northern California. It's basically all day, starting at noon. So if you're going to come back to the fair, Friday would be an awesome day to come to the fair. Tomorrow would be a fun day as well. You know what an MRE is, right? Meals ready to eat for the military, right? Those little boxes. We've got chefs tomorrow. They're going to compete. We're going to surprise them with a MRE, and they're going to turn it into a gourmet meal tomorrow.
That's awesome. That's very cool. Okay, so I've cut my wonton wrappers to make them smaller. Like you said, you want to make them bigger, make them bigger. So little egg wash on them first. If you're doing a bunch of these at a time, I suggest putting down some flour on your board or on your table so they don't stick, but they get too wet, then they're gonna get soggy, and then you playing with dough. But, so we have our mixture right here in our trusty old pastry bag. Put a little dollop on each one. And then very easily, you just fold these corners together, like this. And so you have 4, and then you just crimp them together, and you end up with something like that.
Now, would you put that in the refrigerator?
I freeze these before we fry them, just because the cream cheese will have a tendency to want to leak out, if not, but that's also why I'm crimping the edges very like that. No, that it just makes a nice design, you know? It makes them look cool. But yeah, we actually freeze these before we bake them or fry them, because the hot temperature right there, they want to come out. Yeah. So.
Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. 5 dishes, an hour and a half. Here we've been, ladies and gentlemen, Chef Justin, Chef James, the Honey Girl, and he's the one who caused it all, Father Patty.
And not to forget Randy Russell over here.
Randy Russell.
Oh, I got You didn't hear all that. Oh, he's so great. No. Okay. Never mind. My mic was off. That's a good thing.
I'd like to thank all of you for sticking around and listening to us, because, you know, 2 hours demonstration is kind of a long time, and to stick around and keep watching people cook.
Awesome.
I'd like to thank Denise and Randy, and of course Father Patty, and my sous chef James. And Michael Mars for MCing.
You guys were awesome. I told you you're going to be in culinary school, 2 hours. All right, thank you so much.
Does he have any 30-minute meals?
Oh, yeah, lots of them.
Yeah, email us. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys sticking around. Awesome. Please come. Bring your friends. Family friendly, please. Awesome. Thank you.
I would never expect this company. See something that club. We're not thinking of it.
Hey, thanks for sticking around. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Come by and come anytime. Totally family friendly for each family. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The locals turned around.
Thanks for coming. Glad you did.
Word of mouth is today.
Awesome.
We've been there.
Come back Friday. Thank you so much. Yeah, email us and we'll get you some recipes, okay?
Now we want to go down there.
You do need to go down there.
With my house, a real farming.
It's a beautiful thing.
Long meals. So if you could give us some short 30 minutes. Yeah, I know it could be up so long.
We'll take good care of y'all. Send you some recipes and make it short, quick, and simple.